Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Straight Fire Picks. Best bets for Sunday Night Football Week 6 between the Seattle Seahawks and the Pittsburgh Steelers on Sunday, October 17th, 2021. My name is Steve, and we're going to have 3 picks here for you that I think are great value bets for this Sunday Night Football game. As always, just want to thank you all for your continued support in the channel. If you are new to the channel here today, please be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Always appreciate that. Couple quick announcements. Be sure to check out our community Discord. I'm going to put a link in the comment section and also in the description to that. So be sure to check that out. It's a great place to connect with the community and also get good ideas for bets. So great resource there. We're actually going to be running a live stream for this game as well, beginning at 7:45 p.m. Eastern Time. Might be starting a little bit after. It'll be around 7:45 that we go live though. And we'll have game audio and a watch party going on. So it'll be a lot of fun. We'll have our bets up on the screen and we'll have a good old time. Okay, and now getting right into our comment capper section from the previous episode. This is from Thursday Night Football between the Bucs and the Eagles. We have one call out that I saw in the comments that cashed. Wilkie calling the Leonard Fournette over 26.5 receiving yards. So well done there, Wilkie. Fournette obviously had a huge night, a couple touchdowns. A lot of receiving yards, a lot of rushing yards. He was big. As far as our results on the stream, we went 2-1. We were able to cash our same game parlay, the alternate over 47.5 points, and the alternate Eagles plus 14.5 spread. Cashed that one fairly easily. The over getting in there kind of late in the game, but we were able to cash that. We were able to cash the Leonard Fournette over 62.5 receiving yards as well. So another good hit there. And then the only one we missed was the Miles Sanders receiving prop. And honestly, that's probably the one I was the most confident about, which is weird. Didn't get the looks. The Eagles really had a tough time in the passing game, which was a little surprising. And for me personally, I actually had a parlay in with all these selections and Zach Ertz to get a touchdown. Of course, Zach Ertz scored. Everything else came in, and the one I was the most confident in didn't. So what can you do? Would have been obviously a huge night for us if Sanders was able to cash, but what can you do? We're going to get after it this episode, though. We're going to get that 3-0. So let's get right into our picks. At number 1, we are going with Najee Harris over 112.5 rushing and receiving yards here for the Steelers at minus 114 odds. So listen, I think Najee Harris is really one of the guys in the Steelers offense that you can really trust. If the Steelers are smart, they're going to hand him the football. They're going to throw it to him. They're going to find a way to get the ball in his hands because he's very good. Has a lot of talent, and honestly, they need him. Especially, with all the talk about Ben Roethlisberger lately, someone needs to get the heat off Roethlisberger's back, and there's no better friend to a quarterback than a solid running game. So I think Najee has a great matchup here. Seahawks have allowed the second most rushing yards in the NFL, and they give up 4.5 yards per carry. So Najee's going to have a great opportunity here to cash and to have a big game here against the Seahawks. Najee, like I said, is probably your most trusted offensive source on the Steelers. You had 25 touches last week, which I like that. Steelers finally wisened up, right? Go figure. You give him the ball 25 times, and the Steelers won pretty easily last week. He's good. Give him the football. Some weeks they haven't. I think they finally made it a point. Give this man the football. And like I said, he's got a great matchup this week. We're also adding the receiving yards in here because the Seahawks also give up the third most receiving yards to running backs at 314 so far on the season. So I love that. And Najee is a very capable receiving back as well. You notice one game, he had 14 catches in one game a couple weeks ago for over 100 yards. So he's very capable there as well. That's why I really wanted to take him there. I think he does add that value. And I think he will have that value. And like I said, I really love, obviously, the matchup here for Najee. Roethlisberger, also did look a little bit better last week. So, down the field, obviously. But, and I think in part, that was because of Najee Harris, to be honest with you. Taking some of the pressure off of Ben. Like I said, that solid running game. So take it there for your number 1 pick. Najee Harris over 112.5 rushing and receiving yards at minus 114 odds. Okay, and at number 2, we're going with the Pittsburgh Steelers minus 4.5 spread here versus the Seahawks at minus 110 odds. So I really think this is a game where you can actually trust the Steelers to cover. Seahawks just going through a lot as far as their injuries go. You got Russell Wilson and Chris Carson both out. Two of their main pieces on offense. Also have a starting tackle out as well. That doesn't bode well here for the Seahawks because there was one area where the Seahawks were fairly strong as far as on their team. It would be on the offensive side with Russell Wilson, Chris Carson, Metcalf, Lockett, you name it. So you start having injuries to that unit, you're going to have a lot of troubles because the Seahawks defense cannot carry this team at all. They're 32nd, they're dead last in the NFL in total yards allowed. They're 21st in scoring defense, which the scoring defense isn't terrible, isn't that bad, and it's still fairly bad, but 32nd in total yards. I mean, really, it's just going to come down to can the Steelers cash in when they get in the red zone. They got the right running back to do it, and they got weapons on the outside. So I expect the Steelers at home to have a big night. I really do. Like we mentioned in our previous pick, Ben Roethlisberger, he heard the chatter, right? There was people saying this guy's done. Should they bench him? Should they bring in Mason Rudolph? Should they bring in Dwayne Haskins? And he threw a couple of absolute rainbows last week to Chase Claypool and Deontay Johnson. Very good throwing the football down the field. Or at least they had a couple of big ones last week where they were just so pretty. It's like, man, maybe this guy could still throw it. And like I said, the Steelers really got the ground game going last week with Najee as well, which I'd love to see that. Like I said, Najee is a very talented back. So, like I said, I expect them to have a huge game. Steelers really got, like I said, that groove last week with Najee Harris. And the defense is solid here for Pittsburgh, right? They're 9th against the run. They're 19th against the pass. It's solid. It's not the greatest. It's not the steel curtain, but it's not terrible. And I think, especially like I said, with the injuries, no Chris Carson, they're going to have an even harder time running the football. So take it there for your number 2 pick. Pittsburgh Steelers minus 4.5 spread here versus the Seattle Seahawks at minus 110 odds. Okay, and finally at number 3, we are going with Geno Smith over 17.5 rushing yards here for the Seahawks at minus 114 odds. So listen, there's a couple things I really like about this bet. I think the Seahawks, like I said, with these injury problems that they're having, particularly at the running back position with Chris Carson, they're going to have to find more creative ways to run the football. And they have the right guy in at quarterback for doing stuff like that. Geno is obviously very mobile. I showed that off last week against the Rams and, obviously in shortened duty there when he came in for Russell Wilson. 3 carries, 23 yards in a short period of time. So I think he's going to work that into his game here for sure, just given... like I said, the fact that they don't have a running game, they might have some design runs for him. Even if, he gets out on the edge, he's looking down the field. He obviously doesn't have the most confident arm in the world. He's not Russell Wilson as far as throwing the football. People know that. Even though, he looked good last week throwing the football, he really did. Geno really impressed a lot of people, including myself. But to this point, you can't trust him throwing the football. That's why I'm not hopping on any of his props. His passing props for this game because he's not quite to that point where you could trust him as a throwing quarterback at this point. I want to see at least a full game or two before we start hopping on any over passing props for him. But the rushing props I do like. Like I said, he's very mobile. You're going to have T.J. Watt trying to run him down, and that's obviously I think he could get away a time or two, maybe pick up a big gain on the ground with his legs, and he's a backup quarterback, right? So. Is he going to be particularly safe, or is he going to go for it and try to impress? I tend to lean towards he's going to try to impress. He's going to lay out and get those extra yards as well. So I love it there for our number 3 pick, guys. Geno Smith over 17.5 rushing yards here for the Seahawks at minus 114 odds. Okay, guys, that's going to do it for our official picks for this game. Now, I did have a few additional thoughts on this game as well. If you're looking at an anytime touchdown scorer, I think in this game, you could look at DK Metcalf. It's very rare that you're going to find plus odds on an anytime score on DK Metcalf. Plus 145 for Metcalf in this game. Obviously, it's because he doesn't have his quarterback Russell. But Geno looked very comfortable with him last week, right? If this is one I would maybe look at and take a shot at as far as value goes, I love Metcalf here at plus 145. Like I said, though, you got to figure out for yourself if you could trust Geno Smith. Me, personally, I haven't made a decision on whether I'm actually going to roll with it or not. It's definitely a recommendation because, like I said, the plus odds are great. Geno looked very comfortable with them. And then you talk about the Steelers' defense, the pass defense. They've given up the second most amount of touchdowns to wide receivers. So it's definitely a good matchup for him. Geno looked good with him last week. There's a little bit of chemistry there. Definitely, I could see this happening. But like I said, choose wisely because, like I said, you got to decide if you could trust Geno, and that's a personal thing. He showed you something last week. Was it for real? I guess to this point, we really don't know. So that's why, if you're looking at value, though, Metcalf definitely holds the value here at plus 145. Okay, other than that, that's going to do it for me, guys. That's going to do it for our picks. If you enjoyed the content, please be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Always appreciate that. Like I said, we have a live stream coming up for this game as well. That'll begin at 7:45 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday Night Football there, just ahead of game time. So, and also be sure to check out our community Discord. It's a great place to connect with our community as well. A lot of great betting ideas in there. I just see a lot of perfect stuff in there. So if you want more ideas, check that out as well. All right, and that's going to do it for me, guys. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and we will catch you next time. Peace out.